All right, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. This is a short story, but an important story just to let everybody know that shit is still going down in these cultivation facilities. And we have a new voluntary recall from one of the California operators producing premium indoor cannabis flower. This story from MJ Biz Daily. California marijuana grower voluntarily recalls pesticide-tainted flower. It's important to note too that they did update the story. They say this story has been updated to delete 2 inadvertent references to an incorrect pesticide. So kudos to MJ Biz Daily for updating their shit. An indoor marijuana grower in California has alerted regulators and the state's track and trace system that a certain batch of its flower in the market contains prohibited pesticides. As a result, Grizzly Peak Farms implemented a voluntary recall on its Zope flower. I don't know. Can we say Zope? Can we say
You can say it. You can say it.
We have to say soap.
Zope with the Z.
Their Zope flower strain, after testing from the state's Department of Cannabis Control, confirmed the presence of the pesticide chlorpheneper. The greenhouse pesticide is sprayed directly on leaves to combat mites, caterpillars, fungus, gnats, and other pests. This product is being pulled from the market to protect consumer safety, DCC spokesman David Hafner told MJ Biz Daily via email. Grizzly Peak's participation in the recall is the right thing to do and is in line with the need to protect our state's consumers. Grizzly Peak, which has operations in Oakland and San Diego, describes itself as a vertically integrated cannabis company dedicated to cultivating unique strains of premium indoor flower. The DCC, according to an email obtained by MJ Biz Daily, began sending out notices December 7th to affected retailers and distributors in possession of the contaminated product. All retail sales and distribution of this adulterated batch must cease immediately, the notice warned. It is unlawful to distribute, sell, hold, or offer for sale an adulterated cannabis good. The DCC notice also directed affected companies to collect, segregate, and quarantine all the units of this flower batch until the recall is finalized and the product can be transferred to the responsible licensee or destroyed. And that is the story from MJ Biz Daily. So, industry regulations doing their job of keeping pesticides away from people, potentially immunocompromised people, which is a good thing. But I'd love to hear what everybody has to say about this. And I do have some information on chlorpheneper if anybody's interested to know what it is and what products contain chlorpheneper.
Well, big ups to the self-proclaimed a recall here. I'm a little biased because if it wasn't for Maddie. Yeah. I'm a little biased here because Grizzly Peak's founder, Matt Yamashita, in a roundabout way, I would not be in the game if it wasn't for him. He's my OG's back in the days in Hawaii. And just knowing him on a personal basis, like he is all about clean meds and getting clean product out to people. So I am not surprised that they voluntarily pulled this back. And then he's also the one that was leading the charge trying to get folks paid after getting ripped off by a lot of these people that are skipping out on bills for the industry too. So big ups to them. But I'm biased, for Grizzly Peak.
Saman, is there any truth to what's in the chat of them saying that that it's not something that they sprayed on the plants, it's actually in the walls of the building that they're cultivating in?
I mean, look, here's the thing about some of these pesticides is some of them are water soluble and some of them are not. And so if you're cleaning a facility, then you have to, make sure that you're using solvents or whatever, or, water and soap to clean up, and maybe both. And it just depends on what they were doing. Here's the thing. Indoor cultivation facilities, if they're just freshly built, I mean, they're not agricultural facilities.
There's nothing freshly built in Oakland where Grizzly Peak is.
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know where these guys are at, so thanks
they're in Oakland. Grizzly Peak's in Oakland.
It says Oakland and San Diego. Maybe they have a San Diego agricultural
Let's focus on Oakland.
The point I'm trying to make is it's not a greenhouse. If it's a greenhouse and there was like
it's indoor. It's indoor.
There was something else.
So I do know of cultivators who have gotten contamination from their buildings, and the process of elimination to figure out where that's coming from can be costly and time consuming. To me, this article says the system works to the best that it can. We've got a company that did the right thing, lab testing that worked, a product recall that didn't affect patients and consumers. I'm not mad at that.
But
I don't understand how you have a product recall if you're getting all this testing done before it goes out to the public. That's the part that I don't understand.
That's when it's being done in batch tests, right? They're bulk batch tests. So they get 50 pounds or whatever, and they're testing that. It's coming back in that test of their bulk batch. So that's actually, they have to do an R&D test if they really want to be, safe to not have a product that's already packaged.
But Saman, if it doesn't pass the test, it wouldn't be a voluntary recall. That stuff would be earmarked to either be destroyed or remediated. So I don't understand the voluntary recall. That just sounds like BS to me.
Voluntary means that they're not putting up a fight, they're not fighting, and they're saying, yes, we'll gladly take that back.
But you're missing my point. How would it even end up on the shelf in the first place if the system works so well?
Look, nobody said it ended up on the shelf. They just said it was a voluntary recall.
They could be selling.
But isn't that the purpose of a recall? Because otherwise they would have just said that they failed some tests, and therefore the product never made it onto the market. A recall to me means a recall to me.
Further down in the supply chain, it can get further down in the supply chain before somebody sees something wrong, and then you have the recall.
I'm just saying. I feel as though that
you can't sell it.
We don't know.
Sell it without a COA.
I feel as though when you use the word recall, that is meaning that it was something that was sent out to that the general public had access to. That to me is what a recall means. Otherwise, you would have failed the test and had a sour batch and thrown it away and wasted it.
That's right.
Okay, point, but at the same token, they could have resold it in bulk to be repackaged by other brands at these distribution centers. So we don't know. We actually don't.
How can you resell it?
You can't resell it after a COA. Saman?
I said repackage it. Did I not? I said repackage. So you can sell a bulk batch to another company, and they can repackage it for 5 different brands.
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
But we're talking about stuff that's in final form.
No, it's not.
Because they wouldn't have failed the test on R&D tests.
Hold on, Jason, you're wrong.
I am. Let's hear how I'm wrong.
Compliance test on a bulk batch of flour. That information goes on the batch label when you put it into an eighth. It doesn't have to be retested for flour.
Could have been. Could the lab be? Could the lab be the one at fault here?
Hey, say that rule again. What's that rule?
Yeah, could the lab be the one that wanted the business and they didn't want to interrupt that?
Here's what's happening, guys. Here's what's happening is they probably are using a product as a foliar spray that they don't know contains chlorophenepper. That's probably the actual answer here. And it's not contamination from the walls, and it's not the lab messing up.
Hold on. There's people in the chat, Saman, saying that there was a clean COA and then the product was retested, and that is basically what is happening. So therefore, it was clean. It was product that passed a COA and then got retested after someone purchased it off the shelf and now is getting recalled.
Here's the problem, guys. When you're doing all these lab tests and then you're getting a repackager that repackages it and retests it, always use the same lab. Always.
There's that lab monopoly again. We got to go to a commercial. We're going to be right. Oh, we have no more commercials. Oh, man.
Lab monopoly. Wait a second. Let's talk about that for a second.
You want to talk about that, Todd? Go ahead.
Yeah. Look, most products.
There are no monopolies in federally illegal businesses.
Definitely not in Nevada. But very rarely does stuff fail for pesticides in Nevada. Once every 6 months or so. As far as pesticides being inside buildings, it does exist in HVAC. Spinosad is one pesticide that we have found in someone's HVAC, and they just can't get rid of it, and it's everywhere. And it was bombed, and the spinosad went into the walls, the ceiling, into the HVAC, and it's now all over everything that they grow. And it's a very difficult situation that they're in, right? So it does happen. It's very rare, but it does happen. And To say that they sold it with a clean COA, then it got retested with a dirty COA, you have to look at the lab that did the original test. You just have to. Right? I mean, especially in California.
Sounds like a fake investigation to me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Nevada, can you do that, Todd? In Nevada, can you test bulk batches, or does it all just have to be after it's packaged?
Every 5 pounds of flour has to be tested. Every 15 pounds of trim, every 2.2 pounds of extract, and every batch of edibles has to pass homogeneity testing.
Yes.
And all safety testing as well.